I'm here, Judge.
Okay, Victor. Catalan Rivas, come up.
Counsel for reset.
On this one, you are abandoning the open container or no? Guys? This has an open container allegation. Are you abandoning the open container allegation? Catalan Rivas, because that would make it a minimum of 5 days. Mr. Catalan Rivas, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. There's an allegation that you had an open container in the vehicle. As a result, that makes it a minimum of 5 days in jail as opposed to just 3 days in jail. You've worked out an agreement. They're offering you 3 days in jail, credit for the 1 day that you've done. This will go on your record. If you were ever pulled over in a car, from now on, you're facing a minimum of 30 days in jail. Do you understand? Even if you have the slightest smell of alcohol on your breath and you get pulled over, they're probably going to charge you with a second offense. And there will be a lot of jail time. What we're doing today, there's a minimum of 30 days from now on. Do you understand? I would never get in a car, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, because you're risking your life. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, it will go on your record. You can never take it off. Do you understand?
Yes.
How do you plead to this offense? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I will find you guilty. I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days. Do not drive. What did I just say?
Le acabo de decir.
No manejo.
Not to drive.
You do.
Si lo hace.
Officer's going to pull you over. They're going to put you right in jail because driving without a license is a Class B misdemeanor, just like a DWI. Do you understand? Okay. About the fines and fees, Victor.
Your Honor, if we could waive those fees, Your Honor. He doesn't have too much money saved up to be able to pay all these fees, Judge. He doesn't have a driver's license at this point either. So in the future, if he were able to get some sort of immigration status, then this would obviously follow him around.
What your lawyer is asking me to do is to quash $3,500 worth of fines and fees and surcharges that you would normally otherwise have to pay. What do you do for a living?
Paint out. Trabajo en la fiberglass restoration.
Fiberglass restoration?
18-wheeler truck, big truck.
Full time?
¿Trabaja a tiempo completo?
Cuando tengo, sí, pero
when there is work, yes.
Mr. Catalan Rivas, I want you to understand something and let me be very clear to you
Muy claro.
that I'm going to do this for you now, but it's not going to happen again. The next time, if you come back with another DWI, instead of it being $3,500, it's going to be around $6,000 to $7,000 that you're going to owe. Not to mention all the jail time that you will be required to do. All we are asking you to do is think when you're out there. If you've had anything to drink, don't get into a car. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, sir. We'll have you sign all your paperwork and good luck to you.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Arms by your side. Whatever he asks you, answer truthfully, but briefly. All right.
Mr. Moorhead, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement that they're going to reduce your case to a first that avoids you from having to do 5 days in jail. That's why that is important. So I want you to understand, even though it gets reduced to a first, that's still 2 DWIs on your records. What happens on the next one?
He's wanting you to say,
You know how many times I hear that every day? Take a guess.
every time that you're asked.
Every person that comes here, for every case that we have, on every week and every day of the 3,000 clients that we so-called have here, everyone says that. And the problem is that you never know when something catastrophic is going to happen in your life. Someone cheats on you, someone dies, and it makes you do something that you normally wouldn't do. The problem is that the law doesn't care. They still see too. And whatever happens in your life, even if you have a sip of alcohol and you get into a car and you get pulled over, all they care about is your record and how you look. And then now they're going to charge you with a felony DWI. And now you'll be facing 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. And I'm going to tell you, you don't have to be falling down piss ass drunk where you've urinated all over yourself. It doesn't matter. The slightest smell of alcohol with a little glazed eyes and your record, we're looking at a lot of time in prison. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm trying to impart to you is that even if you have a sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car because it's a humongous risk every time you drive. You give up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are immigration issues. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty to this offense and you accept the probation, you cannot change this. It will reflect as a conviction until the day you die. Is this what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the offense? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
I will find you guilty and I will follow the agreement. As far as I see, is it 1 year or is it?
It should be 6 months probated for 1 year.
So it's 180 days in jail to be probated for 1 year. As part of the agreement, you will do a repeat offender DWI education class.
It's similar to a class that, it's just a little bit more intensive because it's a second offender class.
2 victim impact panels. A TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what conditions you may need. If they say that you need intensive outpatient treatment, you must fulfill that as well. No drugs, alcohol, no breath test refusal, meaning that if you were in a car and you get pulled over and an officer asks you to submit to a breath sample, you must take it. If you don't, you're in violation of the probation. You must also have a guardian interlock as well. Is this how you understand the conditions?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
I will find you guilty and I will send it to you the agreement. I'm going to suspend your license for 1 year.
As per our conversation earlier, Judge, I'll file the occupational today or tomorrow
Does
morning.
he have an interlock now?
Yeah, he already has the interlock.
Understand that we lead the nation in DWI fatalities. So officers, they don't care if you're not pissed drunk. They don't if they smell alcohol, they see 2 DWIs on your record, they're going to make the assumption and they're just going to take you down. That's why it's so much easier. One button, $20 will take you anywhere you want to go in the city. Call Uber. They should be your best friend.
Like my client, Judge, had unfortunate circumstances which led to him having to drive in this instance.
But the problem is that if you kill a 2-year-old kid, those unfortunate circumstances, no one cares about your unfortunate circumstances. All they care is the dead body on the side of the road. You know that I had a lady once I represented many moons ago, found that her husband was cheating on her in their bed, caught them in the bed, in the act. So she goes out and decides, you know what? That stupid MF, she goes to the club, picks up the first person she can find in spite to try to cheat on, gets in the car, gets loaded at the club, takes off, and over there on West No, it was, but it was Hillcroft and Gessner, runs a light, kills the guy. She's now in prison, doing a very lengthy sentence. What happened to make you do whatever it was? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the sky fell, your grandmother died, your spouse cheated. None of that matters. What matters is the end result. And that's why I try to impart to you how important that is so that you realize that. Because we don't want to see you in prison, you know. Good luck to you, sir. Oh, well, hold on a second. We also need the fines and fees and surcharges. So what do you do for a living, sir?
There's a DPS surcharge, and he has to determine whether or not you can afford to pay it. So he's going to ask you a few financial questions.
What do you do for a living?
I'm retired.
Okay, from what?
The Army and from Exxon Research.
So you had a pretty good job while you were,
Yes, sir.
okay?
And I'm hired, Your Honor.
Okay, so you'll be required to pay the fines and fees and surcharges, and I'll give him 2 years to pay, so it'll end up being like $150, $120 a month. But it's reduced to a first, so it's $3,000 plus the court costs, and then 2 years to pay. All right, sir, best of luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Have a seat, Mr. Moorhead. Probation's going to need you in a moment. I got your notice on Mr. Mendoza. I think, so there was a bond condition, and then he came to court and you